I think it can be done. The question really is, should it be done? If I was advising a sponsor, I'd say no. There's no scenario in which you should do this. And I'll tell you the reasons why. I think it can be done. The question really is, should it be done? Hey all, welcome to another episode of Different Roles, Shared Goals. My name is Darshan Kulkarni with the Kulkarni Law Firm. I'm here with Edie Edens, a topic that got brought up in a couple of the conferences we attended, specifically, should sponsors share their feedback on why a site got chosen or not chosen? So Edie, I'm going to let you go first. What do you think?
I have a similar outlook on this, I should say, as a topic when we talk about like giving patients their results back after being a part of a trial. And you see a lot of sponsors go out of their way to say, well, that's not possible in terms of regulatory compliance or privacy practices. But the reality is actually it is possible. It's just a lot of work. And so you have to really want to make it happen. And I feel very similarly for this particular issue in the sense of, look, I understand the concern from the sponsor, right? They don't want to put certain things in writing. I mean, for crying out loud, we're lawyers. I get it. I understand. And I would advise them to be exceedingly careful about what and how could be communicated. But having said that, I mean, the concept of sites is expanding what they are, how they operate. Are they hybrid? Are they independent? Are they commercial? Are they academic? If you want as a sponsor to call and cultivate a certain type of site, and you need them to be a certain way, if you're not giving them the feedback, how are they ever going to get there? I mean, it's a no-win situation. And we already know the sites want the feedback. Even if it's not fun to hear, they'd rather know what they're doing wrong or right that got them selected or not.
I think it can be done. The question really is, should it be done? If I was advising a sponsor, I'd say no. There's no scenario in which you should do this. And I'll tell you the reasons why. I think my first one is pure liability, because you know what, you didn't understand what I was saying, or you were discriminatory in some way. You're just exposing yourself to a bunch of liability that, quite honestly, is just not worth the risk of getting into. At a practical level, you're always going to have someone follow up and go, hey, you'd misunderstood. Let me have another crack at that apple and explain. And you don't have the resources to do that. And then there's just the pure practicality of it, which is, and I work with sites, I do this with sites all day, every day. The truth is that for every sponsor, there are 50 sites that want to be part of their study. And the fact is that there's no incentive for the sponsor to give that feedback. Now, you went out there, Edie, and you said, well, if you're trying to grow and nurture sites to be what they are, truth is most sponsors aren't. It doesn't make sense for them to do that, because more commonly, they're just going to go, I can find someone who is a better fit, because the word fit is just a comparative term. I'm not looking for a perfect fit. I'm looking for a great fit. And when I'm willing to settle from perfect to great, there are a lot of sites that fall into it. They'll spend that energy on an AMC where they have a key opinion leader. I don't like using that term, but where they have a key opinion leader that they can nurture a relationship with. The average small site, they're going to go, it's not worth it for me. There's no upside.
Enjoying our content? We'd love to hear more. Please like, comment, share, and find more.
Do you think it changes based on therapeutic areas or something like, for example, rare disease, right? Where you do have a little bit more of a rate limiting factor. You know, it's not, hey, I'll just find another site down the road type of feeling.
For something like a rare disease state, those sites are not chosen. They're not the average site to start off with. As a sponsor, know that if your drug ever gets approved, that doctor will be one of your high prescribers. Or ignore high prescribers, they're going to be one of your prescribers. So you want a good relationship, or at least not a bad relationship. So I think as a sponsor, I would go, you want to have a good line of communication, and that's great. But your average hypertension, diabetes, weight loss, even oncology trial, I don't see sponsors taking that extra step.
And I think you make a valid point. I see it from the sponsor's point of view. I just do think there might be, like you said, certain relationships or therapeutic areas where it will, in fact, arise and be to everyone's benefit, but it's going to have to be the perfect scenario. With that, thanks so much for joining me today, and contact us, Edie at kulkarnilawfirm.com, Darshan at kulkarnilawfirm.com, and of course, our website, www.kulkarnilawfirm.com. Thanks so much.
Call, click, or email.